Imagine this. Most folks know about Jesus, right? But almost nobody remembers Simon Bar Kokhba, the actual Messiah who ruled, reclaimed Jerusalem, and challenged the might of Rome.
Wait, so you're saying someone else was the true revolutionary Messiah?
Exactly. This guy, Bar Kokhba, also known as Son of the Star from that Numbers prophecy, was not some myth but a real-life leader backed by none other than Rabbi Akiva, one of the most renowned scholars in Jewish history.
Yeah. So while early Christians were, sort of, keeping to quiet underground practices after a crucified Messiah, the Jewish community went all in on this living man, fighting with swords and everything.
Right on. It's like, imagine a battle where instead of a quiet sermon, you've got a full-blown uprising for national independence. Bar Kokhba's forces managed to defeat Roman garrisons and, for a brief moment, restored Judean independence.
Yep. That's wild. And they even minted coins calling it Year One of the Redemption of Israel. Talk about making a statement.
Absolutely. It wasn't just symbolic. This was a new kingdom in the making. Bar Kokhba enforced strict Torah law. If you broke Shabbat or disobeyed his commands, there were real consequences.
Exactly. I find it fascinating how history can paint such contrasting pictures of messianic figures. While Christianity's Messiah suffered a quiet death on a cross, Bar Kokhba was actively fighting for his people.
Right. It's like, there were two worlds colliding. One was about suffering and redemption through sacrifice, and the other about militant uprising and reclaiming identity.
And all that in 132 CE under the oppressive rule of Emperor Hadrian, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed. The revolt wasn't just a small escape attempt, it was an eviscerating war for independence. Within months, Bar Kokhba's troops forced the Romans to retreat from much of Judea.
Right. And what's crazy is that he, even started efforts to rebuild the temple, which was such a dangerous move against Roman rulers.
Exactly. Rebuilding the temple would have been a massive act of defiance, striking at the heart of Roman authority. It was so dangerous that Rome had to respond with overwhelming force.
Yep. Speaking of overwhelming force, I read that Rome sent Julius Severus from Britain to tackle this revolt using guerrilla tactics, siege warfare, and supply cutoffs rather than frontal assaults.
You got it. Severus essentially starved the rebellion into submission. The siege of Bethar was the final nail in the coffin, marking the turning point of the entire campaign.
And the historical records mention a staggering loss. Like, almost 580,000 people lost their lives through battle, famine, disease, and fire. That number is almost hard to fathom.
It really is. Dio Cassius provides a gut punch of those numbers, showing how brutal the war was, with hundreds of villages razed to the ground.
Absolutely. But here's where it gets really intriguing. The death of Bar Kokhba himself seems wrapped in, mystery. Some accounts say he died in battle, while others even hint at a betrayal by his own people.
Right. There's even that dramatic version where a poisonous snake bit him during the siege, as if it were divine punishment for his failed promise to rebuild the temple.
Yeah. Now I get that his movement was revolutionary, but don't you think framing his death as divine punishment might be a bit, too much of a hindsight interpretation?
Well, that's a fair challenge. But you see, ancient narratives often mix the divine with the earthly. It helped shape collective memory by turning his downfall into a, potent symbol of both national pride and a cautionary lesson.
Yeah, I see that. This definitely played a role in how later generations viewed messianic expectations, right? Like future rabbis even rebranded him as Bar Kokhba, or Son of the Lie, to warn against similar revolutionary zeal.
Exactly. They didn't want another uprising that could burn the nation down. To later Christians, his defeat also served to validate their belief in a heavenly, rather than earthly, Messiah.
True. So, let me get this straight. Bar Kokhba's legacy is, one of both awe and caution. He was the one who fought Rome with the hope of national redemption, but ultimately his uprising led to even harsher measures by Rome, like renaming Judea to Syria Palestina.
Spot on. Hadrian's measures were brutal, erasing the Jewish identity of Jerusalem by imposing a new name, banning Jews from Jerusalem under threat of death, and even erecting a temple to Jupiter over the ruins of the Jewish temple.
Definitely. It's almost, poetic in a tragic way. How one Messiah's rise almost forced Rome to completely rewrite the narrative of the region.
Yeah, it's like, his very existence posed a direct challenge to the empire's narrative, so they had to essentially erase him and, by extension, a whole aspect of Jewish Messianic history.
And it's intriguing to think how history could have taken a different course if Bar Kokhba's revolution had fully succeeded. Imagine a Judean state that continued its independence beyond that brief period.
Exactly. It's like pondering an alternate timeline where instead of becoming a cautionary tale, his story became a celebrated foundation for a powerful
Right.
state.
But then again, his failure arguably reinforced the notion that no earthly Messiah with a sword could withstand the might of Rome, pushing the idea that true messiahship must be of the spiritual rather than military kind.
True. But here's the irony. While Christianity embraced a suffering Messiah, Bar Kokhba's example reveals that for a time the Jewish people had chosen a warrior Messiah who actively fought back.
Right. It really forces us to rethink the conventional narrative we're taught in, say, Sunday schools. There's an entire chapter in history that's been largely overlooked because it didn't fit into the comforting script of passive redemption.
Absolutely. And that's what makes his story so compelling. His reign, brief as it was, had a profound impact, not only on Jewish history, but also on the broader discussion of what constitutes true leadership and messianic
Yeah, absolutely.
fulfillment.
And it's also a stark reminder of how history is written by the victors. The Romans, by erasing Bar Kokhba, tried to suppress a narrative that could inspire future resistance.
That's right. They rewrote the rules of religion effectively by making sure that his story, and any challenge to divine supremacy, would, well, never be celebrated openly again.
Agreed. Now, I find it ironic that today we dig deep into this story despite its erasure. It's like history has a way of resurfacing, no matter how much you try to bury it.
Exactly. It's a testament to how resilient these narratives are. Even when official records try to wipe out his memory, the truth of his impact echoes down the centuries.
Yep, true. One more thing. What do you think Bar Kokhba's story teaches us about the consequences of unbridled zeal? I mean, his revolt came with high stakes, and while it stirred hope, it ultimately led to, catastrophic loss.
Fair point. It's like his intense commitment and revolutionary passion sparked a momentary resurgence of freedom, but it also reminds us that extreme actions against established power can backfire disastrously.
Exactly. And that dynamic, the clash between intense nationalistic fervor and the unyielding might of an empire, still resonates today, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It challenges us to question how reform, rebellion, and the fight for identity are interwoven in the fabric of history. Bar Kokhba's saga is, both inspiring and cautionary, a reminder of what can happen when a movement shakes the very ground of power.
Yeah, absolutely. What a journey through history we just took. From a forgotten messiah to a full-blown rebellion, his legacy continues to spark debates about leadership, national identity, and, the blurred lines between myth and reality.
Indeed it does. And next time someone suggests that Jesus was the only Messiah of those centuries, maybe we should ask, what about the warrior Messiah who almost changed everything?
Right. Thanks for unpacking such a rich, layered narrative with me. It's stories like these that remind us history is never as simple as we're taught.
Exactly. History is messy, full of contradictions, triumphs, and yes, tragic downfalls. Until next time, keep questioning and exploring the past.
Absolutely.